This week's tier list will be sci-fi movies of the 2010s. So, I'm a big sci-fi guy. I think a lot of people know that. And I have seen many sci-fi movies, especially from the 2010s. I've seen a lot of them in theaters. So, yeah, let's get into this. And I'm curious what everyone else thinks about all of these movies down here. And I don't know the exact movies that are all down here. It's probably not every single sci-fi movie from the 2010s, but a lot of the main ones. And I've written down a few that I'll talk about at the end that I also really like. But, okay, so here we got John Carter. I have not seen John Carter. I'll move that to the near the end. What is this? Battlefield, something? I haven't seen this either. I guess I'm not too big on disaster movies. But, yeah, have not seen that either. But this first one here, I have seen. Her. And I really like Her. I don't know if anybody of you guys have seen Her, but Her is the kind of sci-fi movie I like. It's more grounded in the way that the world that they're in may not be very realistic, but it's focused on the characters, and it's not just about planets and super crazy visual things that are happening, which I do like those movies, but this one has a very clear point, and it was, I feel like it was nominated for a few Oscars, if I am remembering correctly, but I do love Her. I love Her. I love Her very much, and I'm going to put it in A tier, just as a caution to like other movies that may come, but it's super amazing, original sci-fi concept, man falling in love with his phone. Yeah, I really loved it. Next movie, Ender's Game, have not seen that either. Transformers, I'm not sure which Transformers with this movie is, but I feel like they're all very similar. Every single Transformers movie, I think it's like The Last Night or something. Maybe it's one of the Mark Wahlberg ones, but man, Transformers are fun to watch in a group setting, but I gotta say, they are pretty freaking terrible. I think the first one can be a lot of fun. I love Sam Witwicky. He's great. Shia LaBeouf. There's some good lines from that first one, and I like the parents in the first movie, but this one is just, it's so different. It's so bleh. I'm putting it in F tier. It's just like, ugh. None of the new Transformers are that great, gotta say. What is this? I don't know what this is either, so I'm gonna put it near the bottom. Okay, so next we got Lockout. Haven't seen it. This next one, Super 8. I have seen Super 8, and I love Super 8. Super 8 is the kind of like childhood. It brings out like childhood love of film in a lot of people, I think, because it is a movie about kids making a movie and then they find aliens. And it is Steven Spielberg, so of course it's masterfully crafted. And I'm surprised to see that it was made in the 2010s. I thought it'd be 2000s, but I love Super 8 so much. It works so well. The characters making the movie, all the kids are so distinct, and they're so fun to be around. And it does get into a bit of the more just big sci-fi monster in the very end, but it's such a fun ride, and it's kind of what I like to think of when I'm like, oh, fun sci-fi movie, kids would like it. It's still very well made, very polished. So I put Super 8 at an S tier. And you know what? I'll put Her up at an S tier as well, because I feel like putting Super 8 above Her would just be a discredit to Her. But I feel like I'll still have a bunch to fill up these middle ones here. Okay, I think this is called Transcendence. Haven't seen that either. Live, Die, Repeat, or The Day of Tomorrow. Day of Tomorrow, Groundhog Day, sci-fi action, Tom Cruise. Day of Tomorrow was pretty awesome, I will say. It's one of those big budget sci-fi movies, but it does have a great premise. He wakes up after getting killed on the same day, and he has to try to find a way out, and it's just, yeah, him navigating this alien technology that makes this happen, and it works really well. It works really well. Tom Cruise is great. The action is super awesome. And Emily Blunt, she's a great character as well. But I think I'm going to put this in A tier. A tier. It's very well made. Okay, Looper. I believe this was Rian Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, director, and I love Looper as well. I know some people criticize the prosthetics on Joseph Gordon-Levitt to try to make him seem like Bruce Willis, but I think Looper it's the kind of concept that I really like. If you haven't caught on to my cool concept genre that I've created, yeah, I love Looper so much. The idea, just it's very detailed, right? It's these guys who they're assassins, they're killers for people who are sent to the past so that they can dispose the bodies in the past, and it just comes full circle in the movie. It works so well for me. I mean, when you have time travel stuff, there's always going to be plot holes, but it works very well in my opinion. And I love the scene where he's running, where he's on the run, and it's all about his fingers getting chopped off. I won't say more than that, but I love that sequence especially. But oh man, I love Looper as well. I'm putting it in an A tier as well. I think I like it more than Live, Die, Repeat. But yeah, again, just the concept works so well, and that's what I look for. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is a hot take right here, but I think that the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the modern Planet of the Apes trilogy, is the best modern trilogy in the 2010s past. I can't think of any other movies that come close to it, because yeah, they kind of all do blend together a bit. They're not as distinct because it's just a bunch of apes. It's a planet of apes, but I think as a whole, the story works so well. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, James Franco. It's a very good start to it. I love the movies like kind of post-apocalyptic or like zombie movies. It kind of had that feel because it was like descending into a world that is unnatural and that we haven't seen before. And it works well. I think the second one is probably my favorite, which is... No, Dawn is the second one. I'm so sorry. Rise is the first one. Dawn is the second one. And I think Dawn is the best one, in my opinion. I think it's with... what's his face? Jason something is the main guy, but it's when the apes are more fully developed, and it's a lot about this one guy who kind of tries to sympathize with the apes and connect with them, and everyone else doesn't, which I love those kind of movies. And yeah, Dawn is my favorite one. It is going in A tier, bordering S tier. I think these top two ones border S tier. I may have to do some reshuffling, but yeah. Star Trek Into Darkness. When did they stop making these Star Trek movies? After they made the first couple in like a 4-year span, I was like, oh, they're definitely going to make more, but they just stopped making them. I think they're super fun. I really like the Star Trek movies. I think Into Darkness was a little bit weaker. I think the just Star Trek 1 is kind of, it's kind of better, but Star Trek Into Darkness, I think it has a lot of merit. I think Chris Pine is very good as Kirk. And yeah, I honestly, I haven't seen this movie in quite a long time, but I remember liking it. I like Into Darkness, but I remember the other one being a lot better. I'll put it in a B tier. I feel like I want to get rid of D tier because I feel like just having this many categories is it's a lot. So if I delete D row, okay, yeah, we're just gonna compact it a little, make it a little more concise, a little more to the point. Okay, next one, we got Tron Legacy, I think it was called, because it's not the original Tron, which is super old and innovative. I'll give it that. But this Tron, I saw it in theaters, and I have not seen it since, and I remember it was fine. It's just like, I was young. It's just this bright action movie, cool concept video game, yeah. But I remember it was just fine. And from what I've heard on it recently, I remember it's not the most critically loved, but I remember Jeff Bridges as like the creator of the world. What is it? Olivia Wilde as the woman, and this generic male action hero as the main guy. But I'm putting that in C. It's definitely better than Transformers. I'll give it that. And yeah, this one, what is it? Riddick? Looks like Vin Diesel. Haven't seen it. Either way, next one's Transformers, and yeah, Transformers. I'm trying to see. I can't really tell which Transformers movie this is. We got Transformers. Oh, you got Sam Witwicky there. Oh, I think this is Dark of the Moon. Third one. Third one's not very good. Third one is not very good at all. And yeah, I think this one's like the last night. It looks like Optimus Prime has his sword there, but first and second ones are the most nostalgic to me. I might give the second one a C, but first one maybe even a B because it's just so much fun. But yeah, Transformers, like, what are you doing? Okay, Cowboys and Aliens, Harrison Ford. Oh man, Daniel Craig. I love Cowboys and Aliens. Cowboys and Aliens is such a fun movie. It's a Western sci-fi, very difficult bridge of genres, and it's nothing crazy, but it's so much fun to watch. And yeah, I love Daniel Craig as an action hero. He works so well. He's more stoic, and I mean, Harrison Ford's a legend, but Cowboys and Aliens, super fun. I would recommend it, but I feel bad putting it into an A tier. It's not as polished as these movies. The concept isn't as crazy, even though it is a very good concept, but it's not as like thought provoking as these ones. It's kind of just is what it is. Bunch of aliens, but still very good. Okay, The Thing, the new one, The Thing. Have not seen it, but I have seen the old Thing, and I do love that one. Okay, next we move on to Inception, Christopher Nolan, and I recently watched the Dark Knight trilogy. I love them. Actually, that's probably the best modern trilogy. Not the Apes, Dark Knight. It's because Dark Knight trilogy is probably the best superhero movies around, but I'm a Nolan fanboy, okay? I watched his first movie, Following, very recently as well. I really liked it. It was a good start to. I love watching the beginning of a filmmaker's career, and Following. It's very, very interesting. Not as polished, not as crazy, but the way he makes films is so thought provoking, and it was made on like a $600 or not $6,000 budget, which is like very inspiring. I'm talking about Following, not Inception, definitely not made on a $6,000 budget, but Inception is like, when people think of mind-bending sci-fi concepts, people think of Inception, and yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Because Inception works so well, and it is very Oh, not Oblivion. Inception, S tier. Yeah, and I don't think anybody will complain about that, because it's iconic, even just in pop culture. You have the spinning top, the Earth just converging in on itself, bending over. The Earth bending over. That's a weird sentence, but yeah, I mean, Inception works so well. It's a very thoughtful sci-fi. Christopher Nolan always thinks of his promises, and that's why I love Christopher Nolan. As I've said before, as I've talked about this entire stream, I love cool concept genre, and Christopher Nolan is like the king of that, so I'll give him that. Another cool concept one, source code. I do like source code a lot as well. Yeah, source code is about on the train, and he's trying to stop this robbery that already happened in the past, and he's like in this machine that allows him to go to the past to try to stop it and get information. I remember it being very, very thought-provoking, and I have the image of like, he was like a war veteran, I think, in the end, and he was like in this weird tube. Maybe he was like, his limbs might have been messed up or something, but that's an image I have in my head. I don't remember exactly why, but I like source code a lot. I remember it being very thought-provoking, and it's kind of like a crime movie, but with a sci-fi twist, and I remember very much liking it. I am going to put it at the bottom of A tier here. Oblivion. I actually watched Oblivion decently recently. Decently recently. That's a funny word. And I think I liked it. I do love post-apocalyptic. It has a very fun premise. Like, it's yeah, you're just hanging out with Tom Cruise. He's a little crazy, but post-apocalyptic, you're trying to figure out where he's going. And I do like the ending. I can see some people not liking the ending, but I like the ending quite a bit, with him like driving into the mothership and everything. But I enjoyed Oblivion quite a bit, and I will put it in B tier. All right, Pacific Rim. I hope it's not the second one, because the second one kind of stinks. But first one, Guillermo del Toro, first Pacific Rim, awesome. I believe it's based on a comic, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's not one of those where it's like a crazy cerebral conflict that you got to think about a lot. It's just a bunch of aliens coming from the ocean, got to make big machines to fight big aliens, and it's awesome. I guess yeah, the linking between the two drivers is always fun to watch, controlling these big machines. And yeah, this is when a giant blockbuster movie with a very, I don't want to say generic premise, but a very like, oh yeah, you're beating the bad guy, giant monster movie premise, but it's done very well. Done very, very well. And I will put Pacific Rim at top of B tier. Top of B tier. All right, After Earth. Will Smith. I have not seen that, and I kind of want to. You know what? I kind of do want to watch After Earth, but I have not seen it. Can't rank it, and I feel like based on what I've heard, it would be an F tier. Okay, Prometheus. I like Prometheus. I'm a fan of the Alien trilogy. I watched them all, I think, last year. And I am a Prometheus lover. I like Prometheus a lot. Again, it's one of those movies that is very cool concept. And you have Michael Fassbender's character. He is so great as that character. I believe David. It works so well. I love the atmosphere. It does verge into the horror aspects of the original Alien at some point, but I like the slower pace at the beginning of the movie where you're trying to figure out what's happening, because just seeing this alien world is so interesting. And might be a hot take, but I love Prometheus, and I'm putting it at bottom of A tier. I think Prometheus is great. Alien Covenant, I think it's down here. We'll get to that. Not as good, but still fun. I think all the Alien movies are super fun. All right, the Adjustment Bureau. This is another one of those. This is the type of movie that I'm drawn to. A sci-fi movie with a cool concept. It makes me think of like Source Code, you know. Makes me think of a Looper. Has a cool concept. I forget exactly the concept. This is probably one of the movies I've seen the longest ago. But I remember really liking him. You know what? I'm just going to Google a quick synopsis of the Adjustment Bureau. sci-fi romance. Just on the brink of winning a Senate seat, politician David Norris, Matt Damon, meets a ballerina, Emily Blunt, and though he's initially smitten, a mysterious man conspires to keep them apart. Right, it's somebody like conspiring to keep them apart, and he has to try to figure out why they can't be together. Okay, this is sparking some vague memories, but I remember really liking it. It's kind of a concept that I like. I'm gonna put it at top of B tier, just to be a little conservative here, but yeah. Okay, The Darkest Hour. You mean Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour? No, I haven't seen this Darkest Hour. I think it came out the same year as that one. I do like the other Darkest Hour, actually, but have not seen it. Elysium. I haven't seen this movie in a while either, but it makes me think District 9 has a similar feel, right? Kind of futury. You have these cyborg-ishness. I don't know. It feels very similar. I remember thinking Elysium's fine. Matt Damon, kind of more generic sci-fi, but I remember thinking it's fine. I think I'm gonna slap it in B tier. I don't remember too much about it, but I'm gonna put it right here. I think I should rewatch Elysium. It's the exact genre I like, and I think I should give it another go. All right, Gravity, Academy Awards darling, I'm pretty sure. Sandra Bullock, and I was talking to a coworker recently about Gravity, and they're like, "Man, this movie's so unrealistic. The science is so this could never happen." And yeah, I acknowledge that, but I mean, the film was made so well. It's a beautiful movie, and you just gotta not believe the science for a second and kind of just go along with the story. Oh yeah, his main point was that they like docked on another station once they're just floating out in the space. And it's like those stations are going like maybe not millions, hundreds of miles per hour. You're not going to be able to just float over and find one of them. Like the Earth is massive, which very fair, but as a self-contained story, the story, maybe not the production and scientific elements, I think Gravity works very well. I do like Gravity quite a bit, and I'll put it at the bottom of A tier. I like it. The World's End, a little bit of a different sci-fi movie here, part of the Cornetto trilogy with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. I think everyone should watch that trilogy with Shaun of the Dead. What is it? Oh, why am I forgetting the second one? Shaun of the Dead, World's End. Yeah, World's End is super fun. I think it's honestly the weakest out of the three, but it's still so fun because, I mean, they're just so great. Edgar Wright's awesome. And The World's End, pub crawling sci-fi end of the world. It's one of those movies where it's like the plot is revealed with the sci-fi twist, and you're like, whoa, that is crazy. The scene in the bathroom where they're fighting, that's one of those scenes where you're like, oh, this is just so cool. And Simon Pegg character's iconic. You got to finish the bar hop, and I love The World's End. I'm putting it at A, maybe right there, just above Prometheus. Okay, this one, I can't see the title exactly, but I believe it is Chronicle. And I love Chronicle, actually. It's a found footage, and it's about these two kids who get superheroes. I remember Dane DeHaan is one of them, but I don't remember the other one. But found footage superhero origin story, and it's, yeah, them in real life. I believe it's Seattle. I think that's the Seattle thing at the end there. I don't know. It's somewhere in some city, and it's, yeah, them documenting their superpowers, and it's down-to-earth sci-fi. I would love to make this kind of movie. Like, that's just what I think when I hear this concept. And it works so well. It's just these teenagers trying to grapple with what these powers mean to them. And I have a very vivid memory of the ending where one of them gets a little dead. I won't say too much, but that image of how that happens is like, that's what I remember about the movie the most. And I think I should rewatch this one as well. I haven't seen it in quite a while, but I love Chronicle. I'm putting it at the top of A tier. I do love Chronicle. Limitless. I've actually seen Limitless fairly recently as well, because I know I had not seen it, and I heard people say it was nuts, and Limitless is nuts. I think they're making a TV series, or there already is a TV series on Limitless, but Limitless is crazy. It's kind of like one of those movies where you're just like, I would love to pop this on with friends because it's super crazy, and it's just him unlocking part of his mind, being able to do crazy things. And I love the scene where he's on the ground and he has to like drink the blood of the other person. Oh, that's the scene that I think of in this movie. And yeah, the ending, it's like where he double crosses Robert De Niro, I believe. The movie works. It's like it doesn't take itself too seriously, which I think is a benefit to it. And it's pretty fun. I think Limitless is fun, but of course, not the most polished, not the craziest movie out there. I think I'll slap it in B tier near the bottom of B tier, but it's still fun. I think it has a lot of merits to it. Okay, so I have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes here. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, that's one I was initially talking about. That's the first one with James Franco in it. And I think the relationship with James Franco and the ape, Caesar, is what makes the movie work, right? Having Caesar in that the zoo area. Those scenes are so fun when you just like see him influencing all the other apes kind of like to revolt and everything. Those scenes are great. And, you know, the more I think about it, the more I mean, this trilogy is so great. Yeah, I'd say second best trilogy behind the Dark Knight trilogy for modern day movie trilogies. And I'm gonna put it right up near Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I remember thinking Dawn is more iconic, but I still do like Rise quite a bit. Okay, Interstellar. Again, I'm a Nolan fanboy. I'll admit it. I know a lot of people don't like Interstellar. Love transcends space and time. But man, the Interstellar, I've said this to other people, Interstellar is grounded in a way that it's set in the real world. They start off on Earth, and it's the most expansive movie I've ever seen. Like, you're taking him from Earth and bringing him out into these other planets and everything, and it's so cool to see. And I like the connection at the end. I like it, okay. But again, Nolan is the master of cool concept, and I also really like environmental sci-fi movies, right? Because he has to leave Earth because they're trying to find solution for these environmental problems on Earth. And yeah, I really resonate with those. I really love those kind of movies, and it's just a space movie. Yeah, I know. I love sci-fi. I'm doing a sci-fi tier list. I love Interstellar. I'll say it. I'm putting Interstellar in S tier. Is that a surprise? No. What's your favorite sci-fi movie, Alma? Tell me. This is sci-fi movies from the 2010s, and yeah, I could gush about Interstellar for quite a while. It's one that it's left a very big impact on me. So yeah, this next one here, Paul. I haven't seen Paul, even though that is I don't think it's Edgar Wright, but it has Simon Pegg and Nick Frost there. You do love Interstellar? See, Interstellar. It's a great one. I love Christopher Nolan. I love Interstellar. I feel like I've told you this so many times recently how much I love Interstellar. But yeah, okay. So next one here we have is Terminator Genesis. And I've seen this movie once, and I remember thinking it was pretty bland. I think I've seen Terminator 2. I haven't seen Terminator 1 as well. Mini Timothy Chalamet is in Interstellar. Mini Timmy Shalamalama Ding Dong. So 2014 Timothy Chalamet is in Interstellar, which is pretty legendary. But yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator Genesis. I don't remember anybody liking this movie, and I'm putting it in F tier, but above the Transformers movies because nobody likes those either. Even though they're more guilty, I think you can find more enjoyment out of the Transformers movies than you can this Terminator movie. Okay, The Martian. The Martian, I kind of think it was pretty similar to Interstellar, to be honest. It's very much like it's based on Earth. He goes to space from Earth, and I remember seeing this in theaters with my mom. I bought her this on Blu-ray like as a gift one time because I know she loves it. It's a very mom movie. Moms love Matt Damon. I'll say it. Moms love Matt Damon, and you know what? I really liked Matt Damon in this, and I love The Martian. It's one of those ones where it's like, yeah, it's based in real life, as in it's grounded in an Earth premise. It's not otherworldly. They go to Mars, try to save him, and it's like the science. Who knows if it's accurate? But it's so satisfying to see him pull things off, like all his botany stuff. Mars movie good. This Mars movie is very good. I love The Martian, and man, do I put it in S tier? Is it on the same level as Interstellar? Science is apparently very accurate. Okay, you got to give respect to that. Okay, that's awesome. I love to hear that. So you know what? Just because you said that, I'm putting it in S tier because it's such a feel-good movie. Interstellar is more emotional. Martian is more satisfying, more feel-good because at the end, you know, they bring him home. They bring him home, and yeah, it's a very big epic movie, but it works so well. It's so fun. It makes you smile. Next one, Insurgent. I haven't seen that. I've seen Divergent actually, but I have not seen Insurgent. Okay, Tomorrowland. I remember seeing this in theaters and thinking, oh, it could be a cool premise when I was like 12 years old. And I remember trying to justify after I watched the movie that it was good, but it wasn't. So, yeah, sorry, George Clooney. Oh, speaking of not good sci-fi movies as well, Jupiter Ascending. This movie is horrible. Jupiter what is it? Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum. I saw this in theaters as well. I've seen a lot of sci-fi movies here in theaters, and I gotta say, this was a bad one. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I remember thinking, yeah, sucks. It's going to the very bottom. You know what? Going at the very, very bottom. All right, Project Almanac, have not seen it. Chappie, have not seen it. Jurassic Park, is this the first one? I did not watch Jurassic World. I did not care for, yeah, this is Jurassic World. Or sorry, Jurassic World 2. This is Jurassic World 1. I have seen Jurassic World 1. Chris Pratt, he's charming, you know, whatever. He's decent in it. I think it's pretty fun. I like the Jurassic Park movies, but it's just watch the original. Just watch the original. Okay. Now, a subject I have not talked about. Where's iRobot? Was that made in the 2010s? Because this is all movies from 2010, so I'm a Robot might not be in there. I think that was made in the 2000s. Okay. Alma, I know you know this. I'm a very, very big Star Wars guy. If you cannot tell, these are Star Wars posters. I could talk about Star Wars for hours. And I haven't talked about it too much on stream, but Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And man, this was one of my favorite movie-going experiences of all time. I went with my brother, opening day, opening show at my local cinema. And man, Force Awakens feels so... It's such a happy movie. It is just A New Hope, reskinned. It's just a new update, New Hope 2.0. I know that, but it gets people back interested into Star Wars, right? Finn and Rey were actually good characters at this point, as was Kylo Ren. You had Harrison Ford come back. That was I remember the hype up to this movie. It was so fun, and it worked so well. And Episode 9 just ruined it all. This trilogy would have been so good if it weren't for Episode 9. But Force Awakens is it's a lot of fun. I love Oscar Isaac in it. Very charming, very fun, and it's one of the most memorable movie-going experiences I've ever had. I have to put Star Wars in S tier. Star Wars, Force Awakens. You know what? Top of A tier, because maybe I'll put Last Jedi in S tier. Whoa. Sneak preview. I do love Last Jedi. Okay. Okay. Next Star Wars movie, Star Wars Rogue One, which honestly, the more I think about Rogue One, the more I like it. I've seen this maybe 5 times, Rogue One, and I think every time I just like it even more. I have a few friends. A couple of them, they're adamant that they don't like Rogue One as much. They think it's a little boring. Don't love the characters, but man, I love the ending to the Rogue One. I do love the ending, and this was one of the movies where it's so detached to the main storyline. It was the first side quest that came out from the main storyline, but it works so well in my opinion. It's a war movie with a Star Wars feel to it, and it makes A New Hope better. Yeah, it makes my favorite movie of all time better because of the plot point at the very end. Because the whole thing was oh, why was there this one flaw in the Death Star this whole time? And this movie shows in such a genius way why that flaw was there. And yeah, Mads Mikkelsen's so good. Oh, the villain, I forget his name, Ben Mendelsohn. He's so good in this as well. And man, I just have to have a stream talking about Star Wars because I could talk about Star Wars for a million years. And man, talking about Rogue One and thinking about Rogue One more, I'm putting an S tier. I don't care what anybody says. This is my list. You know what? I'm going to put all these Star Wars in S tier because I love sci-fi. I love Star Wars. What can I say? Okay, moving on. 10 Cloverfield Lane. Actually, this is probably one of my favorite sci-fi movies of the 2010s. Cloverfield number 1. I remember I wrote a paper on Cloverfield number 1 in school. I love Cloverfield number 1, the way it was made. I found footage. It's very hard to pull off, but Cloverfield 1 pulled it off. And 10 Cloverfield Lane, so different. And man, I was so excited for Cloverfield Paradox because I was like, okay, the first one is so distinct from the second one. The second one, they're just in the bunker the whole time. It's about John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead trying to see if the outside world is actually coming under attack from aliens like it was in Cloverfield. It's is this really a Cloverfield movie? And man, 10 Cloverfield Lane is amazing. I am going to put this, like, maybe even at the top of S tier. Like, okay, I'm going to do a bit of rearranging. I'm putting 10 Cloverfield at the top of S tier. I don't care what anybody says. I'm putting Inception above her, Super 8 a bit below, maybe right here. Okay, just a little bit of rearranging. But yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane, amazing. I hope, I encourage every single person to watch 10 Cloverfield Lane because I remember when it first came out, not everybody went to see it. And I still have talked to people recently who have not seen it. And yeah, it is incredible. Shows what you can do with so little. It's a sci-fi movie that is very restrained and very grounded. Common theme of what I like in movies. But yeah, it was like one location the whole time. And you got to respect that. I love movies like that. Okay. Independence Day, Resurgence, have not seen it. Heard it was absolutely disgustingly bad. The Fifth Wave, which is what we are currently in. Have not seen that either. All right. Another one that I talked about recently. I mean, I did do the Denis Villeneuve tier list last week with Arrival. And surprise, surprise, Arrival was my number one. I'm putting it above 10 Cloverfield Lane because I think Arrival, like I said last week, it's based off a short story that I studied as well. I wrote an essay on this movie and that short story, and I love them so much. What it has to say about language and just the fact that the humans coming into contact with these aliens is just a representation of human to human contact, and how like there's just these barriers that people are put up. Maybe it be language, maybe it be borders, and that these barriers ultimately divide everybody, and it always just devolves into conflict. And yeah, like I said before, the plot line of this international, they're trying to work together with every country in the world, and then it goes awry and it goes crazy. That wasn't in the short story, but it was in this movie, and it enhanced it so much. Denis Villeneuve is a genius, and I could talk about Arrival forever as well, because it is probably my favorite sci-fi movie of the 21st century. So moving on. Is this just another Divergent movie? Have not seen that. I already put Ender's Game down there. Oh, I think this is Geostorm. I'm going to put that down there as well. Okay. Star Trek Beyond. Oh, I think I was mixing up Into Darkness with Beyond. I remember Into Darkness being better than Beyond. So I'm going to put Beyond right there. Into Darkness I'll put a little higher. Put it up there. I remember thinking Into Darkness was pretty freaking good. Yeah. So I guess kind of what I was saying before, I remember Beyond being just another adventure in the Star Trek universe. Nothing as crazy. I remember that main girl on the cover, but can't remember it as well. Was Into Darkness the one with Benedict Cumberbatch with Khan, or was that the first one? Man, I don't know. They kind of just blend together, but I mean, the movies they're kind of just very episodic, you know? It's about Star Trek episodes. That's the classic sci-fi show, and every movie seems to be just an adventure. I guess I'm just getting them mixed up in my head because I haven't seen them in a long time, but they're super fun. And I wish they continued that series because I really liked it. All right, Star Wars Last Jedi. And I'll try to keep it short because I love talking about Star Wars, but I love Last Jedi. I think Last Jedi is great, which is a hot take. I've heard so many people think, oh, Rian Johnson ruined Star Wars. Rian Johnson completely destroyed Snoke. Destroyed Luke's character when he tossed away that lightsaber. No. Rian Johnson reinvented Star Wars and tried to make it something better, not better, so tried to make it something different, means something different. They tried to show that you didn't have to come from a lineage to be something special. That was literally the whole point. Rey didn't have parents. They were nothing. Broom Kid. We just lost Broom Kid. I thought he was going to be the hero, but no. And it was showing that the Jedi, their ideals, they weren't all so sound and so morally good, that they had problems too, that the dichotomy of the good guys and bad guys maybe is more nuanced than we think, which it often is. And like, I'm so frustrated. And when we get to the Rise of Skywalker, I'm just going to continue on this tangent. So, I'm just going to put this in the bottom of S tier for now, a little bit above Force Awakens because more revolutionary. But okay, I'll get back to Star Wars talk in a bit. But okay, what is this? Is this Bumblebee or is this just Transformers again? I cannot tell. I think it's just Transformers again because there's more than one of them. Bumblebee was more of a contained story. Oh yeah, Bumblebee's down there. Okay, Transformers again. Okay, this one's the last night. I don't even know if I've seen. I think I've seen one of these two, but like, I don't know the difference, and I don't really care. They're staying at the bottom tier. I don't, even if I haven't seen it, I'm putting it in bottom tier. I don't even care. Okay, Kong Skull Island, man. I don't love these Godzilla movies, like these giant monster extended universe movies. Gotta say, Kong Skull Island. All I remember is what Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson. I liked the feel of like them going into an island trying to survive. It's like a fun type of movie. It was fun getting into it, but it was pretty generic. Didn't pull it off very well. I'm putting it at bottom of C because I think it has more merit than these ones at the bottom. Life. I have seen Life. Life is literally just a alien wannabe, and I really like the ending of Life. The ending of Life was awesome. I think the build-up's pretty fun. I like this kind of movie. It's, yeah, like I said, just Alien again. Reskinned, rehashed, redone. But I remember it being pretty fun. Nothing crazy. I think I'll put it at the bottom of B tier, maybe above Limitless. Gotta give it a little more respect than that. But yeah, it was fine. I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell. I do want to. War for the Planet of the Apes. Last of the Apes one, and this is where everything culminates. Yeah, I'm putting all the Apes in the same tier because they are all incredible. All A tier, super solid movies. And War for the Planet of the Apes, it is heartbreaking at points. Like this motion capture, Andy Serkis, what he does is incredible. And yeah, I think I'm putting it right beside Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think Dawn is just that little bit better, but man, I love that trilogy so much. The Apes trilogy, so good. Okay, cheesy teen sci-fi movie. I think it's called what? The Space Between Us? Something like that. I haven't seen that either. I think that's with Asa Butterfield. Okay. Blade Runner 2049. And again, another Denis Villeneuve. Talked about him last week. I love Blade Runner 2049. Definitely going in S tier up here. I don't know where, though. I think this is one of the thoughtful sci-fi movies. Makes you think after. Ryan Gosling is incredible. And yeah, man, I need to rewatch it. I love the ending scene. I love movies that tackle morality, what it means to be human. Again, I've said this all last week when I talked about Villeneuve, but Blade Runner 2049 is incredible. I think it has a lot more merit than a bunch of these movies here. I'll put it maybe just under Inception here. But Denis Villeneuve, stroke of genius. I think I like it better than the original Blade Runner. And yeah, I remember it flopped at the box office, which was so sad to see, but it's so incredible. It's one of those movies that's very long, but that's the good kind of long movie. I've said a lot on this stream that I like movies that are shorter, more concise, but that's the kind of thoughtful, very expansive in the mind and just in the world. It's I could live in that world for a long time. I would love an even longer movie compared to that one. Okay, Alien Covenant, I believe. I remember liking it. Again, I just love the alien feel, right? It's brutal. It's super fun. It's the planet that they're on is so unforgiving. Yeah, it's less engaging in my opinion than Prometheus, which I slapped in A tier. But I think Alien Covenant's still really fun. I know a lot of people have gripes with it, but I still think it's quite fun. And I will put it just above Elysium right there. Bumblebee. I remember I saw this with my mom, and I was like, this is just like the most fine movie. It's like, yeah, people who like Transformers will like it. John Cena's just completely ridiculous. I like Haley Steinfeld. She's fun, but it's nothing. It's just generic Transformers movie, but it's fun. It's like, yeah, I guess it's better than Jurassic World. Okay, Cloverfield Paradox. Oh boy, I was so excited for this. In the like 5 hours between me hearing about it and me watching it, I was very excited. Great marketing campaign. Released at the Super Bowl. It said, this movie is coming out tonight. On Netflix. It was the first that was ever released publicly, first advertisement. But man, it was so disappointing. It was so weird. Like, I like the idea of like these merging universes and everything, but so convoluted. I heard it wasn't even a Cloverfield movie, and then they just like slapped on the Cloverfield name to add it to this trilogy. And it's like, oh, the Cloverfield movies are so thoughtful, well thought out. They're so distinct. They're so stylized, and this is just normal science fiction crap that I hate. I hate it. I hate Cloverfield Paradox. Worse than Terminator. Less fun than Transformers. Better than Jupiter Ascending. Jupiter Ascending sucks. Okay. Oh, man. Annihilation. Another one of those very well thought out sci-fi movies. Very intellectual. I read this book as well in university. And the book is incredible, actually. The book could be even better than the movie. But this movie, it's one of the more brutal, one of the more down-to-earth. Brutal as in, like, some of the scenes are just very visceral. The scene where one woman turns into the plants, that's the one that stinks out in my mind the most. But I love the idea of this area that they create. Oh, I forgot what they called it in the book, but the zone that they go in. I would love to revisit all of my studies on that and just maybe reread it or rewatch it. But Annihilation is so good. It's going in S tier, no matter what. And I think I'll put it right below Super 8 right there. This is my pity Star Wars. Put it up there because I love Star Wars so much. You know what? Star Wars, I will watch Rogue One over so many of these movies. I'm going to put Rogue One right there. Gotta respect it. Okay, that's my order. Okay, I keep moving the order, but whatever. Okay, Rampage, typical Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson action movie that nobody knows the difference. Is it Skyscraper? Is it Rampage? Is it literally Jungle Cruise? Any other Dwayne Johnson movie? They're all the same. Red Notice, oh, so bad. Okay, Ready Player One, Spielberg. Man, I love the idea of this movie, and Spielberg is a master, and it's made very well. It's trying to appeal to gamers, to the younger generation, and it's a little out of touch. Gotta say, Spielberg, but it's fine. It's fun. It's a good ride. But I'm putting it just like right in the mid tier. It's the most mid movie out of all of these. Like, it's good. Spielberg's good. He makes good movies. But it's going right above Covenant, I'll say. You know, I'm moving Oblivion and Cowboys a bit above these guys. Okay. Next one, Replicas, Keanu. Ooh, I should watch that one. Keanu and Sci-Fi. That's a good mix. Okay. We have reached Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. I could talk about this movie for hours, days, weeks. I think that the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is my least favorite movie of all time. Not because of the way it was made. If it was just a standalone movie, might squeak into C tier. Definitely better than a lot of the movies at the bottom here. But because of what it means to me as a Star Wars fan, to what it means to the trilogy that it was building up to, it was like the worst possible turn it could have made. I'm going to add it here. Can I add it here? I'm going to add it here. Add a row below. There we go. We're going to make it, oh no, didn't want to change that. Whatever. Okay. Worst. Why is it typing backwards? What? Worst movie ever. And it's like, the people who criticize movies the most are the biggest fans. Those are the people you hear about. Those are the people that talk about the movies. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker took everything that The Last Jedi did and just threw it in the trash, completely disregarded anything. Like, it's so clear in the movie how inconsistent they were with all the plot lines. They bring back Palpatine, they kill Snoke, they just, oh, Rey, your parents are Palpatine. It's so disgustingly written. I'm sorry, J.J. Abrams. I love Super 8. I love a bunch of your movies, and I respect your filmmaking. It's super fun. Like, I love the sci-fi mood and everything, but, like, how did you let this happen? Why did this happen? Okay, I'm definitely have to talk about Star Wars more someday, but, like, man, this movie completely destroyed me when I saw it. Like, it destroys Finn. He was trying to feel that his whole character just became, Rey, I have to tell you something, and then he doesn't say it, and it's like everyone thinks he's just going to be like, oh, I love you, whatever. Or some theories are like, oh, he's force sensitive, that's what he wanted to say to her. Why is this a big deal, Finn? And then his whole thing was that he was a stormtrooper, and then he turned good. And that's his arc. It's like, not all stormtroopers are just these faceless creatures that we've seen for a million years, and they just completely disregard that. Like, I'm going to stop talking about Star Wars. I want to say so much more about Kylo Ren and Rey kissing. I laughed out loud in the theater. That's my least favorite moment in any Star Wars movie. But, okay, I'm stopping. It's the worst movie ever made. I don't care what anybody says. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, worst movie ever made. Speaking of horrible movies, Men in Black International with Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth. This movie sucks, man. Less fun than these ones here. Yeah, okay, I seen this once. I think I saw it in theaters, sadly. But, dude, it's so bad. Okay, moving on from all that. Okay. Alita, didn't watch it. Godzilla, didn't watch it. Didn't watch this Terminator. Don't really care about that franchise anymore. John Carter, I think I already talked about most of these. Oh, last one. There's one more that I hadn't talked about. Yeah. All these ones. Last one is Ad Astra. Ad Astra. And I have a friend of mine that says Ad Astra is like a more thoughtful Interstellar. To which I say no. Because Interstellar is way more expansive. Interstellar is way more engaging and heartfelt. But Ad Astra is... I'm so happy that this movie was made. Like this, if I love space movies, like I've been saying this entire time. Movies based in Earth but have sci-fi elements. They go out into space, and man, yeah, Ad Astra is so much fun, and I would love if more movies like this were made. Brad Pitt, I mean, yeah, he's Brad Pitt. Everybody likes Brad Pitt, but another one I should rewatch. I love the moon scene where they're fighting on the moon. Yeah, I love him going out to space, finding his daddy, finding Tommy Lee Jones. Those apes in space, a little weird, but like, you know, I kind of dug it. Ad Astra, I think, is super fun, and I think underrated. I think everyone should go see it. I think it's definitely going like near the top of A tier. I'm putting it just below Chronicle here, I think. And yeah, I have not seen any of these other ones. So that is it. I don't know who's still watching this, but I could talk about sci-fi movies for a million years. But yeah, this is my tier list for sci-fi movies of the 2010s. And I also just wrote down a couple that were not on this tier list template that I found. I don't really know how to edit the tier list template, so... But a few that I wanted to talk about as well were, let's see here. Oh yeah, they didn't have Ex Machina, which I think is crazy. Maybe they're not deeming it sci-fi, but Ex Machina is incredible. It would probably be like, I don't know, number 5 on this list. It would be like, yeah, right between Blade Runner and Her, maybe. Because like Ex Machina is incredible, very clearly sci-fi, has to deal with humanity, all that good stuff that I like. Great performances all around. Heartbreaking end, one of the best modern sci-fi endings of all time. One of the best endings to a sci-fi movie, in my opinion. It's sci-fi. I don't know why it's not on this list, but I love Ex Machina. Attack the Block, I believe that was made in the 2010s, with good old John Boyega. That's such a fun movie. I would probably put that in A tier. It's super fun. Another Super 8 feel, I would say. So I hadn't seen it until I think last year is when I first watched it, because it was hard to find, and I finally found it on some streaming service. But yeah, Attack the Block is also great. A tier, I would say. The Predator movie. There was one Predator movie that actually was at TIFF. I think that might have been 2020, but not very good. Predestination. Oh boy, if anybody out there has seen Predestination, that is a weird movie. That is a very, very weird movie with Ethan Hawke, I believe. I don't want to say too much because I think watching it, you realize what is actually happening at the end of that movie. And it is one of the most messed up movies, but it has such like a normal sci-fi feel to it at the beginning. But like, I would recommend watching Predestination. I don't know how good it is, but like, it's crazy. I would probably stick in like a B tier because I respect like the crazy sci-fi plot. It's one of the most crazy concepts out of all of them, in my opinion. Highly recommend it just to see it once. A few others that I've seen. Time Trap. I believe that one's on Netflix. It was suggested to me just once, and I watched it, and it's just fun. It's like very low budget, very fun. They're in a cave and they find these like the cave is like a time trap, and everything in the outside world is going super fast, and then they find like a bunch of these prehistoric things that have been frozen in this cave for so long. It's really fun, and that's the kind of low budget sci-fi movie that I really dig the vibe of. I don't think Primer was in the 2010s, but that's the classic low budget sci-fi movie that every film kid dreams of making. But again, I would recommend Time Trap. I think it's a lot of fun if you really like sci-fi movies. I would probably put it in a low B tier, but still very fun. The Endless, which is on Amazon Prime. It's another one of those low budget movies. It's like there's this weird alien cult that these two brothers leave, but then they go back to at some point just to like, I don't know why, but they go back to it and they're still like, oh wow, aliens, yeah, totally. But then like there might actually be aliens, and it's crazy, and I love the concept. It's super weird, super strange. It's about like, you know what? I'm not going to spoil it, but I would recommend The Endless. Again, if you like these type of sci-fi concepts, it's one of these smaller budget ones that really works very well. One that I really, really like, The Vast of Night. That one was at TIFF. I saw it at TIFF. I saw it with a few people, and that's such an incredible movie. It's just an alien invasion movie. Nothing sci-fi really happens until the very end, but so many long scenes of just people talking, but the dialogue is incredible. The way it's filmed is incredible. The vibe is incredible. Vast of Night might go in like the bottom of S tier. It's just like props to those filmmakers. It works so well. I love the Vast of Night. Vast of Night. Prospect. That was with Pedro Pascal. He's like on some alien planet. I remember I seen it and it was like fine, but probably like a low B tier, high C tier maybe. Yeah, it's one of those sci-fi movies where it's like, oh, I recognize this actor, so it must be a decently credible sci-fi movie, and I watched it, and yeah, it was fine. If you like sci-fi movies, I would recommend it. 3 more I have written down here. High Life, which is a messed up movie with Robert Pattinson, and I wanted to dig the vibe so much. It was super weird, very sexual, very messed up, but I respect it. I love these type of on spaceship sci-fi movies. I love Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson is a great actor. One of my favorites actually right now in Hollywood. But I think in the end it left me with a bad taste in my mouth. I was probably just expecting something more. I don't want to say refined. Something more held back. Something not as insane and crazy. But I remember thinking like, what's the point at the very end of it? But I think I should rewatch it again. But again, really weird one. I think it's along the line of a Dead Ringers feel, where it's I went in expecting something very different. Synchronic stars Anthony Mackie, I believe, and Jamie Dorian, something like that. And that was a very interesting movie. I think it's very much like Time Trap, like one of those cool sci-fi concepts. Execution maybe a little wonky, and it's like it's a little stretch to believe that this is actually happening, and it's just one of those ones that is very fun. It's cool to see these concepts play out on screen. It visually makes a lot of sense. Like I think the visualizing this concept is very fun, and yeah, I would recommend it. It would be in the mid B tier, I would say. Synchronic. I would recommend it. And lastly, is one that I might put in the bottom of S tier here. Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension. I say that's a sci-fi movie. I know it's based on Phineas and Ferb, which is a TV series, my favorite TV series of all time. But I say that's a sci-fi movie, and Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension, S tier, bottom of S tier. And that's the last thing I have to say. Yeah, I could talk about Phineas and Ferb for hours, just like Star Wars. I love Phineas and Ferb. Star Wars is my favorite movie. Phineas and Ferb is my favorite show. But yes, those are my additional sci-fi movies of the 2010s and where I'd rank them. But yeah, I'd love to hear what anybody else thinks. I'm going to put this in a video on YouTube, so if you're watching this video, let me know what you think of sci-fi movies in the 2010s. They were pretty good. I think there's a lot of really, really great stuff at the top here, a lot of really, really meh stuff at the bottom here. But yeah, I think it was a good decade for sci-fi, and I'm just hoping that we have a lot of these really cool concepts bringing forward and more original stuff. I just want more original sci-fi stuff, because that's the stuff I love to consume. Those are the type of movies I will watch any day, no matter the budget, no matter the scope of it. I will watch almost any sci-fi movie. I'm actually reading right now. I found my mom had an old novel. It's a vintage science fiction. It's a bunch of short novels in a science fiction, all from the 50s. So yeah, I'm in a big sci-fi mood right now, as I always am. I love sci-fi movies. And yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed this tier list. I know it was a little different than Dead Ringers. I don't know if anybody's still watching, but yeah, I am going to wrap up here.